on YouTube? Tass here, bringing you my favourite video on YouTube for sure today. It is my Foot Champions Regional Paris recap video. And basically, why is it my favourite, guys? Because somehow I've ended up coming home and winning the whole bloody thing. Can you read that? FIFA 17 Ultimate Team Regional Champion Paris EA Major Series. Yeah, that is readable. So yeah, guys, I've ended up somehow winning the whole bloody thing, and yeah, I'm just gonna talk about it. So basically, I was gonna actually, my original plan was to show like the goals and stuff like that and add it into while I'm talking, but there were just sort of a couple issues, so I just thought maybe just keep it simple and just, you know, have a talk, have a chat with you guys and let you guys know what happened, how I got to Paris, what happened at the event, what happened, everything up to the final, and then talk about the final a bit. And yeah, so I'll start from the beginning. I flew to Paris from Heathrow on the Friday. The game day was obviously Saturday. Got there around 10 AM. I was with Gorilla. We flew from Heathrow, got to Charles de Gaulle, I believe the airport's called, and yeah, around 10 AM got to the hotel. One of the first players to get to the hotel, and we had some video shoots, photo shoots, stuff like that to do, interviews, behind the scenes stuff, and yeah, really cool stuff that I don't think FIFA players are really used to yet, because we haven't really had the spotlight on us as a competitive game compared to others. So the most important thing that I got from everything was I think competitive FIFA is in really good hands and it has a really bright future, and that's more important to me than winning even. I just want to see what happens with competitive FIFA, and in my opinion it's heading in the right direction, thanks to EA obviously. So yeah, that is what it is. We done all that stuff, and in the evening was probably a pretty interesting thing, was a player briefing, where once all the players got here, we were sort of with like the gaming commissioner of competitive FIFA and a bunch of other people. Peter Moore, I believe, was there. A bunch of other people, the players, coaches, etc. Sort of laid out the rules, the do's, the don'ts, and more importantly, the group draw, the live group draw. And it was a pretty interesting thing, because just to see people's faces, see my face, in terms of your reaction to what happens when you get a group draw. You can't really react in person. It's a bit dodgy. It's a bit of an awkward situation. But the group draw was done. I'm just gonna hop on my group, and obviously the group that everybody was talking about, the group of death, as people like to call it, including myself, was Gorilla, Rocky, and Aggie, along with Bullock. Not gonna talk too much about it. For you guys that do know, you will know what happened, and yeah, obviously it is what it is. So other than that, from the players I spoke to, I believe the impression I got was my group was probably the hardest after that. It was Dax, a French player who plays for PSG, if you're not aware, Poacher, me, and Painter. So yeah, it wasn't too high about the group, wasn't too low, just sort of, it sort of just is what it is, isn't it? Like, you can't really, like, I can't really put an opinion on it, because heading into the event, to the players I spoke to, we all agreed that this is the hardest event of FIFA to date, and more importantly, which is funny, not only is it the hardest event to date, it'll probably be the hardest event, not probably, it is the hardest event of the year, in terms of, yeah, there's going to be an Ultimate Team Championship in Berlin where there's more money on the line, and there's going to be an FIWC where there's more money on the line, but it's not going to be harder, and that's purely because, to put it bluntly, Europe dominates FIFA at the moment. It just is how it is. That does not mean there are not great players outside of Europe, because there is, but there's just not enough. So the general competitive level in Europe is just so goddamn high, and the list of players that were at Paris, I mean, you could have took a pick out of 8, 10, 12 that could win the whole thing, and I don't know how many tournaments you can do that in. So yeah, that's the conclusion I come to. That's the conclusion I know a lot of other players come to. But yeah, to come out of an event like that with the win, obviously, and the trophy, or the shield, it's mad. So on the Saturday, heading into it, first game I played Painter. Not really much to talk about, guys. Sort of a pretty dull game, if I'm honest with you. He's like a possession player. I mean, ironically, I'm saying he's a possession player. I mean, I used to be, or sort of still am a possession player. But off the rip of the game, I have changed my game style a bit. So I'm a bit different, but he's a possession player, really good with the ball. Didn't know much about him, so it was sort of like a dark horse situation, and ended up winning 2-1. I was 2-0 up. And my 2-0 goal was a pretty dodgy goal. And he scored late on for 2-1. I just ended up seeing the game out. It was one of them things I'm pretty sure you guys have heard. It's sort of like, it's all about the 3 points. It's not about how you play, because honestly, I've seen some of the other videos people have done for recaps. First game, I don't think anybody plays too good other than a guy that I'm about to talk about. After that game, I played Dax, the PSG young gun, who's had a sick year in FIFA 17 online so far. One of the best players on the game for sure in the whole world. And he just beat Poacher 5-0. So I got told he beat Poacher 5-0, and I've just sort of scraped through a game, and I'm just thinking like, well, he's clicking on all cylinders while I'm not clicking on anything really, to be honest yet. So it was a big challenge, and heading into the game, winner goes through the group, loser has to fight out in his last group game and hopefully get through if he can. And I didn't want to be in that position, so ended up playing. First half, he got the better of me. To be honest, like, in terms of when I say better, territory and like where the game was played, it was predominantly in my half. So like, if I'm honest with you, it was like a Barca situation. Like, he was just in my half trying to create the clear-cut chances, but that's one thing I was proud of. Even though he was getting the better of me, and did not give him a clear-cut chance. Even in that whole half, he was definitely the better player, but there was no clear-cut chance that he had that he would have been like, wow, why did I not score? There were multiple times where the final ball he had a chance to do something, but I didn't allow him, thank God, because I thought to myself, this momentum he's riding on, it could last 90 minutes, but most likely it's not. Most likely it's just a barrage of just, it's going to last like 20-30 minutes of him just like trying to do something, and hopefully he's going to calm down a bit. And more importantly, hopefully, regardless of what he's doing, hopefully I pick it up, because I wasn't playing too good. Other than defensively, I was playing pretty good. But second half didn't change much. Just sort of mentally changed a lot. I just sort of, not in terms of mentally changing how I want to play, but mentally like, okay, let's start playing now. Like, because I haven't really been playing in that first half. I haven't shown what I can do. And in the second half, it was literally a game of two halves. I believe I was the better player, just like he was the better player in the first half. And the difference being I created clear-cut chances, which I did not give him in the first half. He ended up giving me, or I created them, however you want to look at it. I buried my first one around the 60th minute. A rebound goal with Suarez after Ronaldo bottled the 1v1, ironically. A Team of the Year Ronaldo. Yeah, Suarez instinct gets the goal. And not too long after that, I believe I get the 2-0. Sort of good build-up inside the box and cut back to Ronaldo, 2-0. And at that point, I'm pretty good at seeing a game out, so I just end up seeing the game out. Don't even let it go to 2-1, end up winning 2-0. And that was a huge game for me, because it was sort of a game, it wasn't huge enough for me to win the whole tournament, but it was a huge game to do well in the tournament. So, you know, obviously I've got a quarterfinal minimum. At worst, I've got top 8. So, it was a big game, and ended up winning it against such a good player, one of the best players on the game in Dax. And he ended up getting through the group, but yeah, that was that game. And heading into the third game, I was playing Poacher. He had all to play for. He had to beat me. There were no ifs, buts, or maybes. He had to get the win. Me, on the other hand, I didn't really have to do anything. I was through. If I wanted to top my group, I just had to draw. Assuming Dax was going to win, I had to draw to top my group. But I didn't really care, to be honest, heading into it. So I was playing with zero pressure, while Poacher was playing with all sorts of pressure. I ended up winning 2-1. I was 2-0 up. He scored. We both had chances, to be honest. I hit the crossbar, I remember. He had some decent chances inside my box as well. It is what it is. I end up getting through the group. 3 wins out of 3. And at that point, I'm not putting like expectation on myself, guys, but I'm sort of thinking like, okay, like, let's see what I can do now. Because now I'm in the knockouts. That was my plan. To get to the knockouts and then just play with confidence. Play with just freedom and just see what happens. And I end up doing that. Quarterfinal, I played a player called Sturridge. Not too much experience at LAN events, but he done really well to get out of his group. Definitely was not favourite to get out of his group. But ended up somehow getting out of his group. And I ended up winning 3-0. A pretty convincing win. Pretty convincing win. There was one part in the game, I believe I was 1-0 up. He had a huge chance to make it 1-1. And then after that chance, he did not take. I sort of woke myself up and ended up scoring a second, a third. And it was just a convincing 3-0 win, to be honest. And yeah, after that, that was a big win because that was the only game in the entire tournament, guys, where I put the expectation on myself that I have to win. I put the expectation when I was matched up with Sturridge in the quarterfinal, like, there is no excuse for me. I need to win this quarterfinal. So I end up winning it, convincing fashion. So it gives me even more confidence heading into the semi-final, regardless of who I'm playing. So I end up playing Rocky. Get a little chuckle because obviously he's one of the best players on the game. He's a huge problem to play. There's no simple answer in how to beat him. It was literally heading into a 50-50 game, a flip of a coin game. Whoever clutches up in the moment is basically going to win. And basically went 1-0 up early on. A long shot takes a deflection, rifles in. And I then get a late equaliser around the 85th minute mark. I press the hell out of him in the middle of the park, take the ball off him. And Best is, you know, freaking saying, come on, Ronaldo, give me the ball, give me the ball. And Ronaldo backheels it to Best. He can't block the pass off. He's trying to get a block in on the shot, but Best shoots it just in time, and there's no block, and he rifles it into the bottom corner. Sometimes first-time shots, I'm sure everybody here that plays FIFA, you know, on FIFA 17, first-time shots are dodgy, so sometimes they don't go how you want them to go. But I had no choice, I'd take it first time. Rifles it in, and I believe that is a game where George Best got a hat-trick, and in extra time, I upped it up. To another level that I was not playing in the first 90 minutes. Whether that was because of the confidence of the 1-1, most likely, and maybe he was deflated a bit because he thought he was probably going to win. Yeah, I just up it up to another level, get a couple goals early, and then just, you know, see the game out, end up winning 3-1. And that was the game for top 4, guys. So at that point, I was qualified for Berlin, so I was ecstatic. I was buzzing, I was every word under the sun. That was my goal. My goal was not to win the whole thing. My goal was to get to Berlin. But obviously, I remember even saying to myself in my head, like, before the tournament, if I do get to, like, a semi-final or the latter stages of the tournament, there's no reason why I'm not gonna win the whole thing. But before the tournament, the goal is top 4. Like, that is the goal. I'm not gonna pretend like the goal is to win. Hell no is it to win. So, but after beating Rocky, I had a feeling that was not going to be the last time I played him. I knew either way I'm going to play him again because I thought he was going to fight through the loser bracket. But before he done that, I had to play the winner bracket final. And this was for a guaranteed top 2 finish on Xbox. And I played a player called Marlet, a German player, young kid, around 18. I say that as if I'm not a kid. I mean, I'm only 22. But a lot younger than me, around 18. And a very tactical game. Just like the Rocky game, a very tactical game. And scored a really good goal for 1-0 early on, I believe, and just controlled the game. Didn't give him any chances. And ended up getting a lucky 2-0. But regardless of the lucky 2-0, I was in control of the game, fortunately. At that point, I'm playing with a lot of confidence as well, to be honest, guys. And maybe that's the reason why I'm, even at 1-0, I'm feeling so confident that I can just see the game out. And at 2-0, obviously, it's basically game over. But yeah, another tactical game, just like the Rocky game, as I said. He plays a bit different. He played 5-2-1-2. Rocky plays like a wide formation, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. So, different styles, yet very tactical, the way they play. So, the Marlet game, I mean, he's in winner bracket final for a reason. So, tough game. Respect him a lot as well. Respect Rocky a hell of a lot as well. Respect Dax a hell of a lot. And yeah, at that point, I got a top 2 finish on Xbox. So, I was buzzing with that. And at that point, I'm just waiting and seeing who I'm playing in the Xbox final to see who fights through the loser bracket and gets there. So, no shock, as I said earlier, to me, Rocky ends up getting through the loser bracket, and I end up meeting Rocky again. And as I like to say, me and Rocky had 2 wars at this event. Looking back on them, classic wars with high level of FIFA from him as well, like exceptional. Like, I didn't think either of us played bad. It's just like, it's football at the end of the day. There's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser. But yeah, second game, literally a carbon copy. It ends up 3-1 to me, guys, but this time I'm 1-0 up, and he equalizes around the 78th minute mark, and it deflates me. But I sort of try, snap out of it, get over it, and in extra time, literally the same scenario, 2 early goals, 2 really good, 1 goal was really good. I believe it was the 3-1, not the 2-1, the 3-1. There's a highlight of it, if you guys have seen it. If you haven't seen it, there are ways to find it. Very good skill I done with Ronaldo inside the box to get past his Boateng, I believe, and then just sort of snaked past him and just cut it back to Best. Best whacks it in. Definitely the MVP of the tournament, George Best. But yeah, and at that point, once I scored that goal, I knew I'm in the grand final. I've got a top 2 finish, the hardest event on FIFA today, and really proud of myself. Initial thoughts. Other than that, in the moment of winning, because I know the wars I've had with Rocky, I know like how disappointed he must be in the moment, but yeah, I tried telling him how good of a player he is, and you know, there's no real loser at the end of the day. He's going to Berlin as well, so he'll be back. He'll have another game plan against whoever he's playing, and he's gonna do his thing again in Berlin and the future, as he is one of the best players in the world. So yeah, it is what it is. I was in the grand final, and now, you know, I'm not really going to talk too much about the final. I'm going to talk a bit about sort of the headlines that were made from the final. So a small percentage of people were disappointed in how I ended the game. In terms of the approach I took to end the game. And I've just got to tell you guys, if you've just seen the review I've given you of the tournament, have you not seen something in common? Every game is a 1 or 2 goal game, bar one quarterfinal, which is a 3-0er, which is basically 2-0 till late. Oh no, I made it 3-0, I'm pretty sure. They're all 1 or 2 goal games. But against Chihan, in the second game, early on, by the way, I'm playing on PS4. I've not played PS4 at all, guys. I've not picked up a PS4 pad and played, and I've heard he's played Xbox. Obviously, at this point, it's irrelevant he's played Xbox because we've already finished our leg, but I am 5-0 up. And I sort of told myself at 5-0, can it get much better? Can I actually go 6-0 up, 7-0 up? The way I was playing, I could. But in my opinion, I play percentages, and there's more of a percentage chance that he's going to come back. Because he has nothing to lose. I have everything to lose. I don't need more goals. So maybe I'll get nervous in attacking because I just want to keep the ball, and he'll end up scoring a couple goals or whatever. So I changed my game plan. I'll be honest with you. Whether you want to call it Mourinhoing the game, whether you want to call it slowing the game down or time playing or whatever it is what it is. But I just want the percentage of people that have that impression of me for that specific game to just take this one little thing into account. I go 1-0 up, I go 2-0 up, 3, 4, and 5 on aggregate. It's only 4-0, but it's 5-0 on aggregate via the away goal. So I'm 5-0 up on aggregate. In them 5 goals to go 5-0 up, it's not 5-2, it's not 5-3, it's not even 5-1, it's 5-0. Before I've implemented the tactics I've implemented after 5-0, if you guys could just take into consideration, but hang on a sec, he's just gone 5-0 up from playing normally. So, I mean, if he carried on playing normally, is there not a chance he could have won like 8-2, 9-3, something stupid, some crazy scoreline? There is, but it's the smart thing to do at 5-0 up. I think you ask anybody who has any sort of tactics of football in their head, whether it's a real coach or anybody watching, the majority of people are going to say, why on God's green earth are you going to be pushing for more goals? I mean, there's nothing really else for me to say. And other than that, I'm just going to harp on a bit how he approached the ending. That's all I'm going to say about the game, guys. It ends up 4-3 and 5-3 on aggregate, so he needed another 2 goals to win. And I honestly believe I led him in the game. I was really disappointed in myself because it shouldn't have been as hard as I made it. Obviously, at once 5-0 up, you shouldn't be to 5-3. Even though I still had a 2-goal cushion throughout, minimum, which is okay, but I wasn't happy with myself. But other than that, that's what I'm going to say about the game, guys. If I didn't implement them tactics, I honestly believe the scoreline would have been a lot worse for him. Because at 5-0, I think he would have still scored because we're playing on his console. But I played percentages. I wasn't comfortable with the controller. I didn't want to take any risks, so I decided to Mourinho it. I'll just call it Mourinho in it. Decided to Mourinho it. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about it. And just a little quick thing about what happened after the game. I went up to shake his hand. He didn't want any of it. Heat of the moment, I guess. I think maybe, I hope he regrets it. I hope he actually thinks, actually, yeah, I should have just shook his hand. You know, I mean, like, even if he's done what he's done, like, would you not have done it, Chihan? I mean, that's the simple question I'll ask, and, you know, I'll leave it at that. But, do I have respect for him? Not really for how he's handled it. He should have really... In my opinion, he really should be... he should have shook my hand, but that's just in the heat of the moment, I guess. Whether we resolve that situation is whether we speak in person about it sometime. But other than that, I lost a lot of respect for him, how he handled it after the game. I just want to compare a situation. I know I've been rambling on for goddamn ages, but I remember the Marlet game specifically. You guys have to remember the Marlet game. I was 1-0 up, regardless if I'm telling you I'm in control, or if you're watching the game, you're like, oh yeah, Tass deserves to win this. Who cares about that? The point is I'm only 1-0 up for the majority of the game. And even at 2-0, it's still only a 2-0, a 2-goal cushion. They're the games I like to call close games. And after the game, the way Marlet handled the loss, I believe he said something along the lines of like, you were better in the game or something, or I couldn't do anything, well played. I just want to say, like, Marlet's like 17, 18. Chihan's, I'm pretty sure he's at least my age, 22. I could be horribly wrong, but I'm pretty sure he is. And just to see, like, an 18-year-old handle a loss the way he did, and see somebody else so much more experienced handle the loss he did, who actually has won more money on the day, you know, got the prestige of winning the PS4 side, which is the most important thing. And to handle a loss like that in the grand final, it is what it is. So that's the only thing I want to bring up. But other than that, I end up coming home with this. Who gives a crap about anything else? As they say, you don't remember second place. Once you get to a final, you got to win. You don't remember second place. So however he wants to handle it, he can handle it. But other than that, guys, I just want to say a couple things. I want to thank #United. I want to thank Spencer Owen. And I definitely want to thank Seb. Gave me a lot of advice throughout the day, and he gave it to Harry and Boras. Just little things, just sort of like real life advice, just like calm down, just keep playing your game, etc. Ignore what's going on. Just sort of just simple stuff that actually mean a lot when I think about it. In the moment you don't really think about it too much, but yeah, it is what it is. Other than that, onwards and upwards. I know this was #'s first event, so hopefully onwards and upwards for them, for us. Hopefully onwards and upwards for me. We'll see what happens in Berlin. I'll attempt something delusional again, but no expectations whatsoever. We'll see what happens. And yeah, one last thing. It was really interesting to see like some of the other players that were so happy for me. I saw like Ty Walton, a player who I've been friends with since I basically got into the community, and the players that were there, that like the happiness on their face of seeing me win, it was just really cool to see, like the genuine happiness that others have for you. Honestly, that meant more than winning, like just to see how happy they were, because obviously I'm going to be happy, no crap, like I've just won something, but to see other people happy was pretty cool. So shout out to everybody that was happy. Yeah, and not really much else to say, guys. I've harped on for what, 25 minutes. God knows what this video is going to turn out like, but yeah, it is what it is. I've ended up as your champion for Paris. Next event is in May in Berlin. I will be there. I will attempt something delusional again. But yeah, just happy for this one. It takes a lot of, goddamn a lot of stuff. A lot of things that you need in your favour to win, so I've ended up winning. Congrats to everybody who got top 4, and yeah. See everybody in Berlin, I guess. We'll see whoever gets to Berlin. I will see them there. But other than that, guys, if you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. And yeah, my next video will be a pack opening, and I'll be streaming the Weekend League this weekend. So follow me on Twitter if you have not already, and I'll be tweeting when I'm streaming, obviously. And yeah, so until next time, guys, I will... Actually, hang on a sec. You reading that? Don't forget. Do not forget to hashtag it. But until next time, guys, peace.